Hey guys, wanted to do a just kind of a quickie review of positive, negative, and zero exponents. These are something that I think seem to be a lot more confusing than they should be, and hopefully this explanation is going to help a little bit. So let's start out with something like this. Suppose I had x to the 7th divided by x to the 4th. Now, if you think about x to the 7th is actually x times x times x times x times x times x times x. It's 7 x's multiplied. And x to the 4th is going to be 4 x's. And since when I multiply fractions, I put them together, I could take them apart. And basically, you can see that all of these cancel. And I'm left with x times x times x, which is x cubed. This is the long way to do it. The quick way to do it is to say, well, look, these 4, I'm going to take from those 7 and leave 3. So 7 minus 4 is 3. So if I subtract the 4 from the 7, I'll get 3. So what happens if I flip it over? Let's say I'm going to have x to the 4th divided by x to the 7th. Well, based on this same exact logic here, I got 4 on the top. I got 7 on the bottom. 4 of those cancel. I end up with this, 1 over x cubed. Well, notice here I said, well, look, if I subtract the bottom one from the top one, I get 3. So if I use that same idea, if I subtract 7 from 4, I would get x to the minus 3. So what you see here is a negative exponent just means that I've got x to that power in the denominator instead of in the top. In other words, this is a plus 3, it's top. This is a minus 3, it's bottom. So this negative sign doesn't change the sign of the number. It just says this is in the bottom. So negative exponents are just fractions. They are these are denominators and not numerators. So here's my positive exponents, my negative exponents. So how do I get a zero exponent? Well, by the same logic, if I subtract these, what happens if they're the same? So I got x to the 5th divided by x to the 5th. Well, before I go through all of this, do you realize that any number divided by itself has to be 1? So 5 minus 5, x to the 0, has to be equal to 1. And this is one of those ideas that, x squared, that makes sense. That's x times x. X to the 1, okay, that's x. But x to the 0, I'm not sure what that is. That's a 1. Why? It has to be. If all of this is true, this has to be. Now, the one thing I've got to be careful of is x, or the denominator, not just x, but the denominator cannot be 0, because if I divide by 0, what happens? People die. So as long as x is not 0 in this case, or for example, if I had x plus 3 divided by x plus 3, each of those is to the 4th. As long as x is not negative 3, that would make this 0. When I divide by 0, people die. So hopefully that's just kind of a quickie positive, negative, and zero exponents, kind of a quickie review. By the way, by the same logic, I can have fractional exponents, I can have decimals, I can have whatever. So the exponents, if I use this idea that I can subtract the bottom from the top, that's where the negatives come from. That's where the 0 comes from. There's that. Hope that helps. Talk to you later. Bye.